Now we're going to begin the new shir. It's Payal Horav. It's the last stickler Pedic Vov. What did we learn in the last shir, or last two shiurim? And the way I explained it to you, we learned that in Chakirah, Hashem creates the world using tools, but the tools are nivdalim, the tools are namalakus, the creations, like malach. In Kabbalah, the Eibishter also uses tools to create the world, which Alter Rebbe calls here midesev, and what we call spheres. There's a very, very big difference between saying that the tools of creation are nivdalim, like malachim, and saying that the tools of creation are spheres. Why? Because malachim are separate from the Eibishter, they're not one with all of us. Yes, it says in Svarim, it says in Tanya, in Kuntesacharin, that b'sheisa shlichas they're called Havaya, but be'etzem they're separate from the Eibishter. Because be'etzem they're separate from the Eibishter, they're also separate from each other. Malach Mechol and Malach Gavriel, the Eibishter collaborate between Mechol and Gavriel to do our Pa'ula. Mechol and Gavriel are hafchim. Oitza Shalom b'Mereim doesn't mean it's a peace treaty, they get along. They tolerate each other. You follow? As opposed to Sfiris, which Kabbalah speaks for. The Eibishter creates the world using Gedula and Gevura, or Havaya and Elikim, as is discussed in our Pedic. And Gedula and Gevura and Havaya and Elikim are Sfiris. What do we know about the Sfiris? Which means two things. Aleph, the Sfiris Mamad Alakus. It's not that Hashem uses a creation to make his world. He's using his light. The light has no metzias except for the fact that it's revealing Alakus. And therefore, since the Sfiras are one, Hashem B'yatzem is another in Yifanachtos. The Sfiras are one with each other. The Chesed, the Gevura, in Sfiras, it's not a combative situation. It's not a politics. Chesed wants one thing, Gevura wants something else. Maybe she has to control them. It's one and the same. This is the difference between creation through Midas, as would be described, Achtos. According to Rambam, for example, and creation through Sfiras, like if you guys ever learned Achtos Hashem for Tzemach Tzedek, he has three Achtos. The first Achtos is the Achtos of Rambam, where he's creating with Malachim, but the second Achtos is this Achtos. Hashem is creating the world with Sfiras. And since the Sfiras are all Akus, and Ivach HaYechad, and Ivach HaMeichad, the Sfiras are one with each other. And the Nafkamina is, how one is the world with Hashem. If you say that the Eibishter makes the world with Malachim, that are themselves separate from Malakus, and separate from one another, the Eibishter exploits them, the world is also separate from the Eibishter. No, but then it's dependent upon the Eibishter. But if you say the Eibishter creates the world with Sfiras, and the Sfiras one with the Eibishter, and therefore the Sfiras one with another, so the world which is created by these Sfiras, and particularly the Gevura, which conceals over Alakus, so the world should seem separate from the Eibishter, is also one with the Eibishter. So the Achdus, which is a consequence of the idea that Hashem creates the world with Sfiras as opposed to with Midas, is very significant. And this is how the Alter Rebbe teaches the Pasuk, V'yadaita Yerim v'ashevezel v'avecha, Kedeshem hu elikim, Ke'avayu elikim, B'shmayim mal v'artach. The pshat, the way I understand it is, that if you would be holding, according to Chakirah, you cannot say Ke'avayu elikim. Because Avayu and elikim in Chakirah is two Midas, two malachim, which are separate. And therefore there's not Achtos. And therefore you cannot say Bashamayim imav alaras mitachas Achtos. The Achtos Bashamayim imav alaras mitachas. Till the extent of Ein Oid, like the Alter Rebbe said yesterday, Ein Oid means you can't even call the world Tafel, is only according to Kabbalah, not according to Chakirah. Now let's learn the Pedic inside. The Alter Rebbe v'lachein, this is today's shir, this is Chai Sivan. V'lachein, this is what the Pasuk is anticipating and arguing. You have to know today, you have to inspire it into your heart v'geimen. I shouldn't allow it to enter your mind. The heavens and all of its hosts. That's how it's translated in English. The earth, all that fills it. You have something separate by themselves. It is only that the Eibishter is memale kol ha'elam, is filling up the world. As the soul enters into the body. And he gives a flow. Of the power that creates vegetation, plant life, but it's in the earth. The power of motion in the heavens. And he moves them and he governs them. Galgalam means the heavens. And he moves them and he governs them according to his wishes, like the soul moves the body and governs it according to its wishes. If you would speak about creation through Malachim, you would also say Achtos. What's the Achtos? The Achtos is that the Malachim are tools in Hashem's hands. But because they're separate from Malakus, the world is separate from the Eibishter, and the Eibishter is the Neshama, the Eibishter is in charge. But since we're speaking about Sfiris, it's different. The mashal, the analogy is not comparable, it's not parallel to the Nimshal. When you talk about neshama and guf, the soul is separate from the body. V'sharshim and their root. The body, its root and essence, is not created from the soul, which Hashem provides, from the points of the mother and the father. In addition to the point which the father gives and the mother gives, the body does not grow from the soul alone. For 9 months the mother eats and the baby nourishes from what the mother eats. And after the child is born, his own eating and his own drinking. So the Gemara says, should from biyadam, the Eibush is takamakal the neshama, but the guf comes from the father and the mother, and the food that the parents eat, and then later the food that the child eats. So when it comes to neshama and guf, the neshama is taka in charge. The neshama and guf are achtos, but it's an achtos of two things. You could call the guf oid, secondary. As opposed to the heaven and the earth. Since we're speaking in the Kabbalistic model, where we say, so the Gevura, which conceals over the Eibishter, so the world should appear separate from him, is one with the Gedula, the Chesed of the Eibishter, which creates Ein Sof. So it's a different story. Shekol Atzmusam Mahusam, their very essence. Nishav is created from a state of non-existence that's absolute into a state of what appears to be independent. Rak only as a result of the words of Hashem, the air that comes from his mouth. Moreover, like we said in Tanya, this forever, the perpetual, permanent standing of the words of Hashem within each creation. Talmud is flowing into them constantly each instant. Is forcing them into existence Talmud all the time. From a state of bittul and non-existence. To a state of independent of existence. As is the relationship between the light of the sun and the sun. Inside the body of the sun itself. Derech Mashal is understood by the analogy from Pei to Gimel. Now if you remember Pei to Gimel, the Alter Rebbe said there's a difference between the sun and the sun's light and the Eibishter and the world. Why? Because the sun and the sun's light are in two different places. The Eibishter and the world are in one and the same place. You're going to see a deeper madrega of this achtos in Perek Zayin. The next Perek, when Alter Rebbe is going to introduce us to Tzimtzum Shalei Kipshutei. But the Vayla we're not holding by Tzimtzum Shalei Kipshutei. Now we're just holding by the achtos of Sfiras. And since the Sfiras are one with the Eibishter and one with each other, so the world is also one with the Lakus. V'imkein, therefore, Haim, the creation is, B'teilim b'yemes, the world is nullified in truth, B'metzias in its form, Lagamri, completely, the words of Hashem with the air from his mouth, that since they are spheres and not malachim, absolutely one with the Eibush essence, like he mentioned before, and Kameshi is going to explain later. Later, I suppose, means Perek Yud. Kibit leir Hashemesh b'Shemesh, as a denullification of the light of the sun into the sun. So the spheres are one with the Eibishter, and because the spheres are one with the Eibishter, the world created by those spheres is also one with the Eibishter, and you can't even say oid, ein oid. Naked is only shehein hein gvureisa. One of the aspects of creation is the Sfiras HaGvura, the Midas HaGvura of Tzimtzum, the measure of Gvura and Tzimtzum, which is one of the Eibishter's Sfiras, one of the Eibishter's lights. That the Sfiras are one with the Eibishter, and the Sfiras are one with one another, and therefore the world is one with these Sfiras. To block and to hide the life which flows into the various creations. You need him that it should appear as if Hashemayim v'ha'aretz v'chol tzvam, the heavens and the earth and all of their hosts, ki'ilu, as though heim davar b'fnei atzmei, they're something unto themselves. However, you should know that the contraction and the concealment is only for us. You understand? And compared to the spheres, Gedula and Gevura, which create us as well, everything relative to him is like nothing mamish. The light of the sun is in the sun. Because the attribute of Gevura is not blocking and hiding from the Eibishter at all. It's not separate from Havaya. And what's the type of Havaya in Elikim? That we're talking about spheres and not Malachim. So the Alter Rebbe speaks, it's a different Nekuda in Achtos. He started off the Achtos of his Havas B'chol Rega, so the reality of the world is not itself, it's the Dvar Havaya. Then he spoke about the Div Hein Hein Gvoresa. And now he's saying that the Gedula and the Gvur are one. Havaya Hu Ha'olakim. And in the next Perek, he's going to talk about Tzimtzum Shalei Kipshutei, which is a third Achtos, which the Tzemach Tzedek calls in Derech Mitzvah Sacha, the Achta, Derech HaChasidus, but Derech half of a fellow.
What was the three? What were the two that he discussed already?
He didn't discuss the first one. I discussed the first one. The Hakira one. That it's the Hispara Gaz Nalacheta.
He's been with the second one the whole time.
In Perek Vov. Perek Vav. In the earlier prakim, he wasn't going into this dimension of unity. He was talking about there that creation is every instant, and the idea that it's as godly for Hashem to conceal himself on the creation as it is to reveal himself.
Okay, he didn't say anything else. And now what's he going to go into?
Symptoms like a pshuta, that we're swimming in a sea of Ein Sof. We're inside the Ein Sof.
In this parak as
well. And that's why in this Perek he brings the pasuk Avayu Elikim, and the next pasuk is he brings the pasuk Ani Avayu Leisha Nisi.
So how do you put them together?
It's two madregas. It's leizu afzu. It's different steps. In Derech Mitzvah, it's three achas.
It's where you're looking at, no?
It's your madrega, I suppose.
It's your madrega. And also, one other question. The spheres that he uses to create the world, it's from Atzil. After that, it's already midas, right? It's already I'm saying in Bria, Yitzhak, and Asiyah, it's already...
Well, he calls them midas the whole time. And he means spheres of Atzilus. The whole time he keeps calling them midas.
They're midas, but I'm saying it's what you call spheres. I'm saying they're not a Davar Nifrit.
Right.
The rest of
they're
them
Gilead. Right, that's right. Which is what the Rambam will talk about. So this ends the current shiur.